Get your top story. That's amidst the ongoing controversy over the BBC docu-series on Modi. The Kerala Congress has screened the documentary in Thiruvananthapuram, even though the central government has banned it in India, saying it's false and motivated propaganda. Meanwhile, students at the Jadavpur University in Bengal have also screened the documentary, Priyanshi.
And Divya, this is not the first time that the docu-series are being screened, despite there being a clear opposition from the central government. The public showing of the series, which is of course a two-part documentary that speaks about the 2002 Gujarat riots and PM Modi's politics, was one of many such events that's been organized by several opposition parties and free speech activists across the country. Even in the national capital, the screening was planned in JNU and Jamia, which of course led to protests thereafter. Now in Kerala, the documentary is at the centre of the row, even within the Congress, as veteran leader A.K. Antony's son, Anil K. Antony, recently quit the party, alleging that intolerant calls to retract a tweet in which he had defied the Congress's stand and called the BBC documentary a dangerous precedent. So he had called the BBC documentary a dangerous precedent, after which he said that he was forced to retract the tweet, and after which he resigned. So the BBC documentary really creating infights within the Congress, and now creating a controversy with that screening that the Kerala Congress planned.
Well, the documentary screening that has actually drawn a lot of attention is now over. At the Jadavpur University, the documentary was screened without any interference from the police or law enforcement. Now you can see, of course, people leaving after viewing the documentary. So clearly, in Jadavpur University, organized by the SFI, the documentary screening has of course gone off without any kind of interference from law enforcement, and that's perhaps what is starkly different from what we've seen in the national capital. In Kolkata, of course, the ruling party is the Trinamool Congress. Several MPs of the Trinamool Congress also have called for screening of the documentary, or have asked for people to watch it. Now, of course, the opposition party of the left and the students wing of the left, the SFI, has organized the screening of the documentary, and the documentary screening has finally ended, with the SFI ending the documentary as soon as it ended. You can see, of course, on that laptop was when they watched it, because they had to watch it on laptops due to some technical failure, and of course the end credits is where the documentary screening ended. So clearly the documentary has been screened in Jadavpur University in Kolkata without any interference from the law enforcement. And that's, of course, the latest on the screening of this documentary, and more such calls for screenings have been given at other universities in Kolkata. With camera person Aniruddha Tripathi at the Jadavpur University campus in Kolkata, Saurabh Gupta, NDTV.
Now, the Gauhati High Court has ordered the Assam government to resettle 100 families that were evicted during a drive in the Dhalpur's Gorukhuti. This follows a PIL by the Assam's leader of the opposition, Debabrata Saikia.
Now, the eviction took place in 2021 and had turned violent, and 2 persons, including a minor boy, were killed in police firing. Now, the Gauhati High Court has ordered that the Assam government resettle these 100 families that were evicted during a drive. Now moving on to a special report. West Champaran in Bihar, once known for kidnapping for ransom and bandits, is making news today for its startup zone in Chanpatia. In the aftermath of the COVID-19 lockdown, when several migrant labourers returned to their villages in Bihar, there was a special step that was taken by the district magistrate.
That's true, Priyanshi. The district magistrate, Kundan Kumar, decided to help them earn a living. Many have set up units of their own in the startup zone and are also able to provide further employment. Manish Kumar with this report, reports from Chanpatia. Let's just take a look.
पहले पिछले 10 वर्षों से सूरत में रहते थे, तो जब कोरोना काल लग गया तो वहाँ सारा मार्केट बंद हो गया था, और हम वहीं काम करते थे सूरत में अपने पति के साथ में। तो जब सब मार्केट बंद हो गया तो हम लोग घर अपने वापस लौटे। जब घर वापस लौटे तो जो मेरे पश्चिमी चंपारण के डीएम सर कुंदन कुमार सर है, उनसे क्वारंटाइन सेंटर में हमसे मुलाकात हुई।
Archana Kushwaha, till 2 years ago, was working as a daily wage worker in a textile unit. Today, she runs a sari manufacturing business of her own and employs over 20 women. She started this unit in Chanpatia startup zone, 15 kilometers from district headquarters, Betia, with a 25 lakh loan from the government. Today, her turnover is over 2 crores.
पसंद नहीं आता तो फिर इतना साड़ी बनता थोड़े ही सर।
तो मतलब कितना प्रॉफिट कितना होता होगा?
अभी हम लोग मतलब कम ही रेंज लेके प्रॉफिट पर काम कर रहे हैं, 5-10 रुपया प्रॉफिट पर काम कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि देखिए अगर लोगों को सस्ता नहीं देंगे तो फिर लोग यहाँ से नहीं ले जाएगा लोग।
Like Archana, Gulshan also worked at a steel utensils making unit in Delhi. Now has his own setup. Or Jitendra, who used to work in a garment firm in Ludhiana, but now makes woolens here and even fulfilled his dream to send to Kashmir this year. So far there are 57 such units who are clocking a turnover of 25 crores in this startup zone.
यहाँ पे हम लोग बर्तन मैन्युफैक्चरिंग कर रहे हैं, ठीक है। पहले हम लोग दिल्ली में थे, दिल्ली में भी अपनी फैक्ट्री थी, अब यहाँ पे अपनी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग यहाँ पे बिहार में भी चालू करी है।
तो दिल्ली में और यहाँ में क्या अंतर है?
दिल्ली में यहाँ में कोई खास अंतर नहीं है, पर लेकिन मार्केट अच्छा है बिहार का बर्तन के मामले में।
ये से लो और मतलब मिनिमम का भी हम लोग बनाते हैं और अच्छे पीस भी जो होते हैं बढ़िया में।
तो खरीदार हैं?
जी, अपने खरीदार है। स्कूल ड्रेस का जैसे हम बनाते हैं, स्कूल ड्रेस तो इस बार हम लोग का बहुत चला, जैसे हाजीपुर, मुजफ्फरपुर, अपना बेतियाँ तो घाट पर, मुजफ्फरपुर, हाजीपुर। 2 सीजन मेरा पूरा हो गया।
कैसा रहा?
अच्छा रहा। एक मशीन और हम लोग ला रहे हैं, भैया से बात हुई थी कि एक मशीन की बात चल रही है, देखिए अगले महीने।
क्या चाहते हैं और क्या करना चाहते हैं?
अभी तो इसी को आगे और बढ़ाना चाहते हैं।
And the man behind this successful initiative, West Champaran District Magistrate Kundan Kumar. He says this bulk production model is now being scaled up.
अब जो नेक्स्ट स्टेप है उसमें यह है कि लगभग 141 लोग ऐसे हैं जो सूरत, लुधियाना, अमृतसर जैसे जगहों से यहाँ पे आना चाहते हैं, तो उनके लिए और स्पेस देखा जा रहा है जिससे किया जाएगा।
This Chanpatia model today is manufacturing everything from e-rickshaws to dustbins, basket to saris and sweaters under the same roof. It has emerged as big talking point on how to check the migration of laborers from Bihar. With camera person Habib Ali and Manish Kumar in Chanpatia, Osama Shab for NDTV.
Now let's turn our attention to the economic crisis that's really unfolding in Pakistan. And now the Pakistani currency has dipped to an all-time low against the US dollar. Now the Pakistani currency has lost 24 rupees of its value against the US dollar, and it's currently trading at around 250 against the US dollar. It hit that all-time low of 255 against the US dollar. Now the latest fall comes, Divya, as the government ended its control over the rupee-dollar exchange rate as part of the IMF conditions. So previously, the currency was holding strong because the government was able to control the currency. But now the currency is being controlled by the free market. The government can't control it because that's a condition set by the IMF in order for Pakistan to get a possible bailout from the IMF. So that's why we're seeing the currency really nosediving to a record low now.
Right, Priyashi, the country is seeking a bailout from the IMF as it goes through a critical economic condition, and the IMF expects the rate to be determined by market forces. Let's listen in to what experts had to say.
ब्लैक मार्केट वजूद में आ चुकी है और हमारा डॉलर सारा के सारा वो खरीद रहे हैं। कैब की वजह से हमारा रेट जो 240 था, उनका रेट 255 था, तो लोग हमें देने नहीं आ रहे थे, उनको बेचने आ रहे थे। इस तरह हवाला मार्केट की यही हाल है, उनका रेट 260 था, जबकि इंटर बैंक 225 था, तो 35 रुपये में कोई भी सस्ता डॉलर अपना देने को तैयार नहीं था। उसका नतीजा क्या निकला, जो वर्कर रेमिटेंस है वो हवाला की तरफ चली गई और यहाँ जो एक्सचेंज कंपनी के डॉलर आते थे वो ब्लैक मार्केट में चले गए, और जिसकी वजह से 2 अरब डॉलर का माना हमारा गैप आ गया। अब ये गैप इस वक्त पाकिस्तान और पाकिस्तानी रुपये को बचाना और ज़रूरी था, और गैप हटाना भी ज़रूरी था।
इन्फ्लेशन में बहुत ज़्यादा इजाफा हम देख रहे हैं, एक नई स्पाइक आएगी इन्फ्लेशन के अंदर जो ऑलरेडी 27% के ऊपर है, क्योंकि डॉलर बढ़ेगा यहाँ से और फिर उसके बाद ऑयल प्राइसेस बढ़ेंगे, फिर साथ साथ कमोडिटी प्राइसेस बढ़ेंगे, तो ओवरऑल सिचुएशन मिक्स एंड मैच ही आप कह सकते हैं। इनिशियली थोड़ा सा आपको रिलीफ मिलेगा, लेकिन ओवरऑल आगे जाके इन्फ्लेशन में इजाफा देख रहे हैं।
And to get more on this, we have Pakistani journalist Waqas Azim joining us from Islamabad in Pakistan. Well, Waqas, take us through what is really happening in Pakistan. Why is the currency at an all-time low at 255 against the US dollar? What's leading for this currency to nosedive the way it is?
Well, actually, it's the fallout of Ministry of Finance and the Finance Minister, which has been resisting for the last few months and controlling the Pakistani rupee artificially. But ahead of talks between the IMF and the Pakistan, Finance Minister had decided to lose the control over the rupee, and it's been aligned with the open market. Now, the IMF mission will be visiting Pakistan from 31st of January to 9th of Feb to revive the IMF loan program, which has been suspended over the years. Now, the Finance Minister and the official from Pakistan will be participating in 10 days talks, and they have a very tough decision to in the coming days to announce. Initially, they have to announce a mini budget, and we are expecting that more than over 300 billion rupees of more taxes will be imposed on different sectors. And FPP has, State Bank of Pakistan has already hiked its interest rate, and it has raised from 16% to 17%. Now, in the coming days, the IMF tranche will be coming for Pakistan, and gas prices will be increased, electricity prices will be increased, and petroleum development levy on the petrol and high-speed diesel will also be increased, and it will be at the tune of almost 50 rupees per litre. By devaluing the Pakistani rupee, the debt on Pakistan has been increased almost 3 trillion rupees, and Pakistan's foreign reserves has also been at the historic low level. So the IMF calls and the IMF conditions have been fulfilled almost 90%, and more than 10% will also be fulfilled in the coming days. Basically, the Pakistan and the IMF program has been suspended over the last year, and the Pakistani government has been negotiating with the IMF on virtually, but at the request of Prime Minister Shehbaz Sharif, IMF has decided to send its mission to Pakistan. But before their visit, the Pakistani government has almost fulfilled all their conditions. And in coming days, we will be seeing that the inflation will be rise here in Pakistan, particularly the petroleum prices and the high-speed diesel will go up, and other imported luxury items will also be more costly. Right. Basically, its purpose is to curtail the import bill and make the export more competitive. Right. That's why the Pakistan government is on a very tight rope, and they are making very hard decisions right at the moment.
And as you were mentioning that a falling currency will lead to inflation as well, because all imported products will now get expensive. But this is just adding to the economic crisis that's already existing in Pakistan. And when we talk about that IMF bailout, take us through why this is really needed for Pakistan at an urgent basis. Take us through the points that really highlight the economic crisis that's going on in Pakistan.
Well, Pakistan's economy is really in the trouble, and other multilateral and bilateral donors are also looking at the IMF loan program. When the Pakistani government will start negotiation with the IMF and the loan program will be revived, the other multilateral donors and particularly the friendly countries of Pakistan will also be pouring more money and more funds for the Pakistan. That's because Pakistan has almost very historic foreign reserves at the moment. We have no dollar for opening of LCs, and Pakistan's business are very at the verge of closure, particularly its main industries like textile and other industries are protesting here in Pakistan, and they are asking for the market-based currency. It's been the demand of the business community as well, and particularly the currency exchange companies here in Pakistan were offering the rate of dollar at the 260 and 265 rupees today in the market. Pakistan State Bank has to devalue its currency today and or in the coming days, because some sectors are also demanding that the real value or the market value of the currency should be aligned with the open market, and it's almost 260 to 270 rupees here in Pakistan. But when the currency falls, it's almost the economic crisis that has been trickled down, and today Pakistan's foreign minister has almost failed to control the Pakistan's currency and its economy. Although he has been claiming that he will manage all the things, and particularly the Pakistani currency will be at the 200 rupees. But during the last 4 months, he has been totally failed.
Right. Bakr Azim, thanks very much for joining us with those details. So, of course, the trouble really only increasing for Pakistan and the economic crisis in the country, as the currency has now dipped to an all-time low, which could also lead to more inflation and add to the worries of the common people. With that, it's time for a very short break, but lots more coming up on the other side.
That's right, Priyanshi. The world's first nasal vaccine has been launched on the occasion of Republic Day. We'll get you details of that, as to how much it will cost and where you can find it. That and a whole lot more on the other side.
Welcome back. If you were scared of injections for vaccines, we have some good news for you. The Union Health Minister has launched the world's first COVID-19 intranasal vaccine, which is called IncoVac. It's developed by India's Bharat Biotech, and the vaccine will be available to the government for 325 rupees per dose, while it will cost 800 rupees to private hospitals.
The company in December last year, Priyanshi, got the approval for the primary 2-dose schedule, and as a booster dose. Before that, the Central Drug Standard Control Organization had approved the restricted use of the intranasal vaccine in emergency situations in the age group of 18 and above.
वैसे ही एफर्ट के साथ हम आगे बढ़े। आप सबको मेरी शुभकामनाएं। आपका नेसल वैक्सीन हिंदुस्तान में नहीं केवल, लेकिन विश्व में मैं मानता हूं कि फर्स्ट वैक्सीन है। उसका उपयोग हिंदुस्तान में भी हो और दुनिया में भी हो। अल्टीमेटली हमारा लक्ष्य है देश और विश्व स्वस्थ रहे।
Researchers at CSIR's Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute in Bhopal have successfully converted parali or stubble into eco-friendly and evergreen hybrid wood. Priyanshi.
Now, this is a new solution to the problem of stubble burning that really contributes to the toxic air that we breathe in the national capital and in adjoining areas as well. Take a look at this report that brings out this new solution to stubble burning.
Every year, as the winter sets in, Delhi and adjoining areas are covered by a blanket of thick smog. Stubble burning in adjoining states is said to be a major contributor. The CSIR Advanced Materials and Process Research Institute in Bhopal has developed an internationally patented and novel technology for making evergreen hybrid ply and composite wood using farm stubble and other industrial waste. Converting the agro-industrial waste into processed wood lowers the consumption of timber, which in turn reduces deforestation. The waste-to-wealth tech wood is 30% cheaper and 20% stronger than conventional particle wood and plywood.
ये बोर्ड बनाने के लिए खाली दो चीज़ चाहिए, एक पॉलीमर, दूसरा पराली। हम लोग कुरुक्षेत्र और पखवाड़ा वो फार्मर के साथ इंटरेक्ट किया है। हम वर्कआउट कर रहे हैं पंजाब, हरियाणा, इन यमुनानगर प्लाईवुड इंडस्ट्री क्लस्टर में एक पराली बोर्ड बनाने के लिए इंडस्ट्री क्रिएट करने के लिए। ये बोर्ड आप देख रहे हैं, ये बोर्ड अलग-अलग थिकनेस में बन सकता है।
The Bhopal-based CSIR lab started working on finding an eco-friendly solution to toxic fly ash generated by thermal power plants in MP Singrauli district and adjoining areas in 2010. Nearly a decade-long research by scientists at IMPRI led to the development of the alternative wood, so it could be used for making furniture and decorative items.
So this parali is a serious problem, especially in the month of October to January, when the weather is changing, and that time the kind of smoke in Delhi, Punjab, Haryana is there. It makes various places as a gas chamber, which is very bad for the health. So what we found that we came out a solution of converting this parali into the composite to make panels, boards and all those things, which is useful for as a building material and even for furniture.
The product was showcased at the India International Science Festival in Bhopal. Expect to see this wood in the market in 2 years. While the Haryana government is working at commercializing the new waste to wealth technology through MSME sector, the CSIR IMPRI has also transferred this technology to a Raipur-based industrial unit for large-scale manufacturing of parali-based green wood. In Bhopal, with camera person Rizwan Khan, Anurag Dwari for NDTV.
And a special focus of Budget 2023 could be agriculture and rural India. The assembly elections are going to be held in 9 states this year. The government has decided on a special focus on the agricultural sector and the rural part of India. Watch Himanshu Shekhar's ground report from the sugarcane belt of Modi Nagar.
Budget 2023 may bring good news for these farmers. Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman may make important announcements for the agriculture sector and rural India. According to sources, the budget allocation for the agriculture sector may be increased to meet the challenges of the agricultural sector and to enhance economic development in rural India. Agricultural schemes may get an extra 2 lakh crore over the 1.32 lakh crore rupees allocated in the 2022 budget. In view of the economic stress in the agriculture sector and rural India, the idea is to increase the allocation for schemes like the PM Kisan scheme and Manrega. Allocation for the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana may also be increased. 2023 is being celebrated as the International Year of Millets, so there will be a special focus on increasing production. According to government data, the inflation rate in rural India in December 2022 was 6.05% despite efforts, which is still above the tolerance level of RBI. Because of this, the demand in rural India is still weak. Husn Singh, a farmer of Godana village of Modi Nagar, says he still hasn't been paid for his sugarcane crop, even though inflation has pushed up his expenses.
पिछले 2022 का भी 15 अप्रैल तक का पेमेंट हुआ। अच्छा, अगर मई लोग 20 मई लोग मिल चला था, और अब इस साल का पूरा नहीं है। हम जो साहूकार से पैसे लेने पड़ते, हम हमारे ब्याज में चले जा, ये इस टाइम पे पेमेंट दे, हमारा वो हो तो हमें ना लेने पड़े, हमारा चला जा।
तो साहूकार कितने पैसे पे देता है आपको कर्ज?
100 रुपए पे 5 रुपए लेता महीने के।
महीने का?
तो
साल में तो बहुत ज्यादा हो गया।
हाँ, 60 रुपए हो गए जी।
तो बैंकों से कर्ज नहीं मिलता है?
बैंकों में चक्कर काटने पड़ा, वे देते ना, ऐसी वो कराए।
आपके लिए
Farmer Arun has over 5 acres of land. He says he is still not getting the MSP in mandis and farmers are forced to sell crops at low prices.
नहीं बिकती हमारी फसल उस रेट पर, कम दामों में बिकती है।
कम पे बिकती है?
कम पे बिकती।
क्यों? ये समस्या क्यों है?
समस्या ये है कि हिक्का जो व्यापारी है, हिक्का है, मोदी नगर का हो, बाहर का है, व्यापारी मंडी में जो माल खरीदता है वो अपनी मनमर्जी का खरीदता है। किसान का कोई भी सहारा नहीं बनता। किसान को मजबूरन देना पड़ता है क्योंकि किसान कर्जदार है, कभी बिजली का, कभी खाद का, कभी पानी का। उसको पूरा करने के लिए किसान फसल तैयार करके सरकार लेना चाहे, सरकार ले डायरेक्ट, हमें हमारी मजदूरी का पैसा मिल जाए, वो भी नहीं मिलता।
वो भी नहीं
मिलता।
नहीं, हम ये चाहते हैं कि वित्त मंत्री जी जो है हमें फसलों का समय पर भुगतान दिलवा दे। जो गन्ना जा रहा, हमें किसी चीज की कोई जरूरत नहीं, ना हमें कर्ज की जरूरत है और ना हमें अनुदान की जरूरत है। जो प्रधानमंत्री के तरफ से हमें किसान योजना में हमें पैसा मिल रहा है, हमें इसकी भी जरूरत नहीं है। ना हमें कर्ज की जरूरत है, ना किसी भी तरह के अनुदान की जरूरत है। जो हम पर आरोप लग रहा है सरकार किसानों को बहुत कुछ देना चाह रही है, हमें उसकी जरूरत नहीं है। हमें समय पर जो फसल हमारी पैदा हुई उस समय का हमें वाजिब दाम समय पे मिल जा, सरकार के कानून के हिसाब से। जो सरकार भी कहती है कि गन्ना हमारा है तो 14 दिन बाद में अगर नहीं मिलता तो हमें ब्याज मिल जा, अपने उसी कानून को लागू कर दो। तो हमें किसी चीज की कोई जरूरत नहीं है, सरकार से हमें कोई अपेक्षा नहीं है। अब सरकार हमें कुछ दे, किसान स्वाभिमानी कौम है, स्वाभिमान के हिसाब से जी है। जब इन बजट वगैरह के बारे में 99% किसानों को, जो मैं सच्चाई बता रहा हूँ, पता ही नहीं है बजट क्या चीज है।
While considering an increase in budgetary allocation for agriculture and rural India, farmers want FM Nirmala Sitharaman to announce a new roadmap for the effective implementation of the MSP policy in budget 2023 so that they can get the right price for their farm produce. In Modinagar, with my camera colleague Mohammad Mursaleen, Himanshu Shekhar for NDTV.
Moving on, in other news, in Nagaland, since the 2018 polls, BJP has emerged as a key factor in the 2018 polls. BJP won 12 seats, whereas it won only 1 in 2012. In this Christian majority state, and in 2018, the BJP got 15% vote share and was part of the Neifu Rio government. This time again, the BJP has formed an alliance with Rio's party, NDTV.
The elections are coming up in late February, and again that alliance coming up. Now NDTV will contest in 40 seats and BJP in the rest 20 seats of the total 60 seats in the states. And the key man for BJP in Nagaland is its state president and cabinet minister Temjin Imna, and he is also extremely popular in social media, and he speaks about the BJP's reach out in Nagaland polls in this exclusive interview to NDTV's Ratnadeep Chaudhary.
Joining us at this moment is Mr. Temjin Imna. He is the BJP president from Nagaland. He is a cabinet minister and somebody who is talked about always for his social media posts and tweets. Even this year, you are contesting the elections in alliance with NDTV. So, tell us about the alliance, the formation, and what are the issues with which BJP particularly would go to the people of Nagaland?
First of all, I would like to let the people know that the BJP-NDTV alliance in Nagaland is an alliance made with lot of thoughts. And as you very well know that in this country, BJP has never walked out of an alliance. Our central leadership and the state leadership are in tandem with each other. And to go for an alliance where the regional aspirations and the national goals are met, even in the state of Nagaland, is of paramount interest for our leaders, like our most loved Honorable Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi ji, Amit Shah ji, our Home Minister, and also JP Nadda ji, our National President. So this time also, our central leadership have reiterated to go together with the same seat-sharing formula of the NDTV-BJP alliance. And I'm sure we will do very well and we will come up victorious to strengthen Narendra Modi ji's leadership in our country.
You are very hopeful और आपसे बात अब हिंदी में करते हैं because you are one leader. आप एक नेता हैं नॉर्थ ईस्ट में जो बहुत ही शुद्ध हिंदी बोलते हैं. आपकी हिंदी सोशल मीडिया में बहुत चर्चित है. अगर इस चुनाव को देखें तो पिछले बार आपकी जो सरकार रही एनडीटीवी के साथ उसको ऑपोजिशन ने सपोर्ट कर दिया. इस बार एक ऑपोजिशन लेस गवर्नमेंट में आप लोग थे. क्या ऑपोजिशन से कुछ चुनौती आ सकती है आप लोगों को इस बार?
नहीं, ओपोजिशन लेस सरकार बना के था क्योंकि नागा इश्यूज को लेके एनडीटीवी, बीजेपी और एनपीएफ ने भी जोर के सरकार बनाया, बीच में सरकार में आ गया और उन एस्पिरेशंस जो नागा लोगों का जो भी चिंता करने वाला विषय है उनके ऊपर में भारत सरकार के साथ मोदी जी के नेतृत्व में बहुत सारे कामों को आगे बढ़ाया, मगर कुछ चीजों को पूरा नहीं कर पाया. तो चुनाव जो है वो संविधान के अनुसार है, तो चुनाव में जा रहे हैं
तो जो पूर्वी नागालैंड है, ईस्टर्न नागालैंड में जो डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं, वहाँ के लोग, वहाँ के जो संगठन है ENPO, उनका एक लॉन्ग स्टैंडिंग डिमांड था एक सेपरेट स्टेट का, जिसको लेके गृह मंत्रालय के साथ उनकी बातचीत भी चल रही है। एक बॉयकॉट इलेक्शन का भी एक डिमांड आया। अब वहाँ के जो लेजिस्लेटर्स हैं उन्होंने ये फैसला किया है कि वो आगे जाके चुनाव लड़ेंगे। ये पूरे मामले को बीजेपी किस तरह से देखती है?
नहीं, ईस्टर्न नागालैंड का जो 20 विधायकगण है, उन्होंने 2-3 दिन पहले ये बात को आगे बढ़ाया कि चुनाव लड़ेंगे और चुनाव के बाद जो भी समस्या है, उस बीच में जो भी एनपो और भारत सरकार के गृह मंत्रालय के साथ जो भी विचार विमर्श चल रहा है, उन चीजों को आगे बढ़ते हुए जाएंगे।
We have seen in past that all the legislators had come together to take these talks forward. There have been attempts even by this assembly as well. Now, how do you see again when every time there are elections, the peace talks issue comes up? Now, the fact that it is stuck in limbo, what would be BJP's reach out this time on this issue to the people?
See, one thing is very clear. It is the press who calls it that it's stuck in limbo. But the talks are never stuck. The government of India under the leadership of Shri Narendra Modi ji and Amit Shah ji is in continuous, reach out to all the organizations that are there. And all the organizations are in ceasefire and in talks with the government of India. So the press should be very careful to say and to give a wrong narrative that the talks are in limbo. It is not at all. It is in a continuous process, and that day the amiable understanding comes, I believe it will be a great day for the people who are Nagas and for Nagaland and for the government of India also.
Welcome back. India and Egypt have condemned the use of terrorism as a tool of foreign policy in the joint statement that was issued on Republic Day. The two countries called for zero tolerance to terror and to those who encourage, support and finance terrorism or provide sanctuaries to terrorists and terror groups, whatever their motivation may be, Fianchi.
And Divya, this statement is particularly important in the context of India's neighbour Pakistan, that External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar had said that Pakistan uses terrorism as a legitimate tool of statecraft. Now, Egypt engages with Pakistan in OIC, where India has accused Pakistan of pushing its agenda against India. So this statement coming in that context assumes particular significance.
Now, the 74th Republic Day Parade in Delhi took place at the Kartavya Path for the very first time at the revamped ceremonial boulevard from the British period, known earlier as Rajpath, Priyanshi.
That's right. It was the first parade on the newly revamped Kartavya Path, and Egyptian President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi was the chief guest. The Grand Parade was a mix of country's military strength and cultural diversity as well. Here's a report by NDTV's Vishnu Shom on the highlights of the parade, in case you missed it.
Led by Colonel Mahmood Mohammed, 144 soldiers of the Egyptian Armed Forces marching down Kartavya Path. Their President Abdel Fattah el-Sisi, the chief guest on this India's 74th Republic Day. It was a foggy morning today. Along Kartavya Path though, the armed forces were at their best, marching to several martial tunes.
Marching contingent.
One of the highlights, the all-women contingent of the Central Reserve Police Force.
Led by Assistant Commandant Poonam Gupta.
Several other marching contingents, including those of the Navy, featured women. The naval contingent, led by a woman officer, featured 3 women and 6 Agni Veers, soldiers in the first batch of the new armed forces recruitment scheme. Atmanirbharta was the motto for weapon systems on display. So no Russian tanks this time, just the Indian-made Arjun and other systems made in India, including the Akash missile system.
2019, when it was employed as a countermeasure to Pakistan's Air Force.
23 tableaux, 17 from states and union territories and 6 from various government ministries depicted India's cultural heritage, our economic progress and national security. The motorcycle display, a display by the Corps of Signals, thrilled the audience with several formations, including a yoga display.
As difficult as it is to celebrate.
And finally, the air display, an air show of 45 aircraft, including vintage aircraft to the most modern jets in service in the IAF. The fog, however, meant that the aircraft were not as clearly visible as many would have liked. Vishnu Shom for NDTV.